let's talk about exactly what I would do if I was starting completely from scratch and trying to get my first sale on Etsy. Truly, one of the biggest areas that I see new Etsy sellers struggling with is their design. So in this video, I want to focus a good portion on that. However, I also want to walk through how to pick a solid niche, because you can have the best design in the world, but if it's not something that people are actively looking for, something that's in demand, then it's just not going to sell. So those are the two main areas of focus for today's video: finding a solid niche that is backed and proven with demand, and then creating a high quality design that matches that level of demand, and how you can really set yourself up for success and have a better likelihood of getting that first sale on Etsy. Because I know that is a milestone that feels incredibly far and incredibly hard for many, but I'm hoping that this video is going to give you a little boost in confidence that you are closer than you might think to that first sale. This strategy that I'm sharing today is one that several of my students have followed and have achieved their first sale within their first few weeks, first 30 days of starting their Etsy and print-on-demand business. It's also the same strategy that I've used to scale my 2 print-on-demand shops. So there is proof in the pudding, but without further ado, let's just jump right in. First things first, we're picking a niche. When you are chasing your first sale, your niche matters. It is unfortunately not about just creating things that you like and picking something that is kind of trendy. Yes, there is potential that you might see your first sale, you might see sales in the things that you like and the things that are quote unquote trendy. But the approach in just creating things that you like doesn't necessarily mean that other people like it too. Now, that's not to say that I want you to completely throw out the window any of your passions and interests, because there is a way that you can really combine those passions also with what can be profitable so that you can grow and enjoy the process too. Now, Taylor, how do you do that? How do you find things that you are not only passionate about, but those passions also are profitable? I am so glad that you asked, because I have a free resource down below. It's a free guide. It is my niche building guide, and it is the 4-step process that I use every single time to find niches that I, one, am closely tied to, passionate about, have interest in, as well as making sure that those niches are in demand. Not every single niche that I brainstorm for does meet that demand, but this gives me a really good place to start. So I'm going to have that linked in the description box below, as well as I have a video that walks through how to use this guide and that exact 4-step process that I will link up above. Step 1 and 2 of the niche building guide are all centered around a big brainstorm of people, passions, hobbies, and interests. So let's just pretend I did that brainstorm, and in my list of people, passions, hobbies, and interests, I thought about my great best friend, Becky. I don't actually have a best friend named Becky, but she's going to be our person today. We will say that Becky loves baking. I like the alliteration on that. Becky and baking. Another part of my brainstorm that I did is I thought about who Becky is. Becky is my best friend. Becky is also a sister. She's also a roommate. All of this gives me a really solid starting point to start researching for demand. I can start this research with the hobby of baking, or I could also start this research with the role, thinking of how Becky's a best friend, a sister, and a roommate. Let me show you how I would do both. I am quite simply just going to start with the Etsy search bar, and if I'm starting with the hobby, passion, interest, in Becky's case, we know that it is baking. I feel like I'm going to jumble up those words. Becky and baking is getting a little bit difficult to say. But with that, I am going to go ahead and just start by typing in the word baking, and I want to see what automatically pops up in the Etsy search bar. I'm not hitting enter and looking at the search results or anything like that yet. I just want to see what is auto-populating. This is what I mean when I'm saying what's auto-populating, just these different terms that are showing after I've typed in the word baking. This is going to help give you insight as to what types of products are selling in relation to that niche, what type of keywords people are using in relation to searching for that niche, and a little bonus kind of like pro tip, if you have Everbee, which is one of my favorite research tools, you will also be able to see the monthly search volume for that given search term that's populating below, so that you have an understanding of how many people are actively looking for that product, that niche, the search terms that you're seeing here. This is how we validate demand. And without demand, you will have no eyeballs on your product, which means you will have subsequently no sales on that product as well. One of the things that stand out to me here is baking gifts. It has very high monthly search volume, and it is a pretty generic, broad keyword that I could potentially look into further, clicking into the keyword like I'm doing here, and see what are people selling for baking gifts. Because I also have, my girl Becky in my mind, I could also think about what does she like to bake? What are her passions within baking? And that can also help me make this a little bit more specific if I was looking to use this keyword of baking gifts and create a product for it. For example, just this little row of search results here, I see a lot of apparel for baking. That's something that as a print on demand seller, I personally sell apparel. So apparel is always interesting to me. And there is clearly products for baking in apparel that are selling. It seems that most of these are specific to baking sourdough bread, but maybe Becky doesn't like sourdough bread. Maybe Becky likes to bake other things. She likes to bake pies. I could maybe pull inspiration from these bestsellers here and create something different that has to do with pies that Becky likes to bake. Because there's likely other people that are like Becky that like to bake pies. I feel like this video is so funny with Becky and baking. I had no intention of creating this person of Becky today, but that's just kind of how things are going. So shout out Becky. Now, the second way that we can go about this research is thinking about the role of the person that we brainstormed for. So as a reminder, we have Becky, who is a best friend, a sister, and a roommate. Now, when it comes to these roles, a little hack that I like to do is I always want to add the word gift prior to or after the role. So let me show you exactly what I mean. If I'm thinking about how Becky's a best friend, I would start with gift for and type in best friend. Again, looking at what auto-populates, I can see gift for best friend. That is something that has nearly 3,000 monthly searches and is clearly something that people are looking for. I could combine gift for best friend with baking gifts, and that is already starting to formulate my title and what I'm going to be using in a listing. The other way that you can do this is flipping the word gift. So I might start by just typing in best friend, and first I'll just see what populates. For one, I can see best friend gifts is something that populates, which that's what I'm referring to when I'm saying have the word gift before or after the role. So we had gift for best friend, that was before the role. Now we have best friend gifts. This is something that has lower search volume than gift for best friend. However, it still has 845 monthly searches. So it's definitely not something that I would discredit or leave out or anything like that. I still think it's a really strong keyword. Something interesting though that I can also see here is some of these other auto-populated keywords. For example, best friend girl gifts, that has a little over 300 monthly searches, and best friend gift women, that has nearly 5,000 monthly searches. So this is something that I would be jotting down, making a note of, so that I can start to extend my title and my tags off of all of this information that I'm seeing. I can repeat this process for each of the roles. For example, we'll do gift for, there we go, sister. And I can see gift for sister has a little bit of search volume, not as much as gift for best friend. So maybe that's not as strong of a keyword. Maybe we don't want to include that. And then we could also do sister gift, see what pops up. So sister gifts, that has over 5,000 monthly searches. So that seems like a much stronger word or keyword than gift for sister. I would essentially just repeat this process so that I'm validating what I'm brainstorming for. Now, there might be times where you're doing this keyword research and you're not finding something that has search volume for it. And I want to show you what that looks like so you know what to look out for. Say you're trying to think of keywords and you say, okay, Becky, she likes baking and she's a best friend. Maybe we say best friend baking, and we're trying to combine kind of these roles and the passion, and naturally it would make sense to think, okay, best friend baking, could that be a keyword that I put into my title? The reason that I wanted to put that here is because what you'll see is that there's nothing auto-populating below the search bar now, and when there's nothing auto-populating, that's generally a good indicator that there aren't people searching for what you have typed in. You'll just see this find shop names containing best friend baking. If you see that, I likely wouldn't put best friend baking into my title or my tags for my listing. I rather stick with some of those stronger keywords that had proven search volume for them to create a really strong listing proven in demand. All of that to say, that is step one. We need proof of demand before we go into step two, which is creating a really high quality design. If you aren't already using Everbee, I will have a link in the description box for Everbee. Actually, if you use the link in my description, it is a discounted link that is going to get you 50% off your first 2 months with Everbee. So if you want to be able to see that proven search volume next to the keywords that you're typing in to the Etsy search bar, that is going to be the tool to use. All right, now here is where I find that most new sellers are getting stuck. This is the step that is preventing them from getting that first sale. To be honest, a lot of the sellers that I work with in my community, they got the research part down. They are amazing at finding keywords. However, what's a little bit trickier to learn and grow in is design skill. And that is no hate, no shade, or anything to make anybody feel bad about their designing or anything like that. I have always considered myself to not be a creative person. I literally only this year started to kind of be like, maybe I'm a little bit creative. Maybe I do have some good ideas. For the majority of my life, I was the individual who always did really well in math and science. I was not somebody who did well in the more creative subjects in school. And I'm sharing that because I know so many of you feel the same way. You feel you lack creativity. It is a struggle. You stare at a blank canvas on your computer and just are having a really hard time at putting together a solid design. The good news is that creativity truly is a muscle. The only reason that I consider myself more creative now is because I have been working that muscle, putting the reps in to my creativity for the last few years. And it is something that with time has really become stronger. And I know that the same can happen for you, but I'm really excited because I want to share with you a new tool that I've been using that for those who might not feel the most creatively inclined, this is an area that you are struggling in. I think that this is something that you're really going to like. The tool that I have been loving recently is Playground. So let me give you a little tour. The reason that I love using Playground is because all of their designs start from a template. There are templates for tons of different categories, logos, t-shirts, art, cards, stickers, posters, memes, so on and so forth. I just think that when you have a little bit of a starting point, like using a template, you are going to spark that creativity, get that muscle warmed up a little bit, and you're going to find it a lot easier to actually create a design. Now, while there are all of these different categories, I just want to say that I truly explore all of these different categories because I think you can find inspiration in so many of them, even if they're not labeled of the product type that you're necessarily designing for. Go in with an open mind. Don't limit yourself to a specific category. Really explore around. And another thing that you can do is search for something in particular. So in the case of our girl Becky, maybe I'm thinking, okay, I want to create some baking designs for these wonderful keywords that I just found. We know that there's demand for it. Now I need a little bit of a starting point to actually create something that's going to sell. Simply, I could just start by typing in baking and get some inspiration right off of the jump. And just to give you a glimpse, scrolling through, you can start to get an idea of some of the different templates that you will find here in Playground. Now, because I'm not in a specific category, I'm going to see different templates from all types of different categories. So yes, some of these aren't necessarily going to make sense for every single product type that you might be creating, but some of them will. And even the things that don't, you still might find a great source of inspiration from. For example, I know that around the Halloween season, anything with skeletons always performs really well in designs. This is so funny, this skeleton baking right here. I personally wouldn't necessarily do this entire design on a t-shirt because I sell t-shirts, but I would love to use maybe just the skeleton baking and take that out of this template and put that into a different unique design. So let me show you exactly how you could do that. If I were to click into this, for one, you'll also get a list of similar templates. So maybe you like components of this, but you also want to look at some other options. Like here's a nurse, that's kind of cute. I also really like this template right here. I kind of want to circle back to that one. All you simply do with Playground is start to give some prompts as to what you're looking to do with the design that you have. So I've just typed in, can we remove the background around the skeleton? I simply just want the skeleton and the baking things, and I'm gonna just go ahead and tap create and we'll see what it populates. And just like that, we have a few different options that we can look into. This is the first one. This looks so good. I love how these came out. I think this one's my favorite. This one's pretty cute. Yeah, this one's my favorite. The other thing that I could do is also give some insight as to maybe what style I want the design to reflect more of, or if I want to change the colors, or I could simply just leave this as is. If I wanted to add text, I also can use the add text tool. If there's anything in particular that I want to erase, there's also an eraser tool, and I can add any additional images, maybe some other graphics elements that I created maybe from another template here. I could bring that in to create my full complete design. Once I'm happy with the design though, I can go ahead and export it right here at the top. Now, I also wanted to circle back to this design template because this is very trendy to what is currently selling in tons of other niches. And when I took a look at the search results for baking, I did not see any design styles immediately in that first little bit of search results that had this same kind of meme style about it. Now, I truly love this as is. However, I'm personally not a fan of just plain black and white designs. And something that I've really noticed that's common with this meme style, it's been very popular in the, I don't even know if I could call this a niche. I guess it's a niche, the whole like raccoon shirt niche. There's tons of bestsellers that just have things about raccoons on them. I'll pop up some examples here, but this format, this style kind of reminds me of that, and something that I've noticed be very popular in those raccoon designs is they are typically a solid color, all of the design elements. So I could go off to the right here and do change colors. There's tons of different preset palettes that you could choose from here. With these are going to make different components of the design different colors, and I'm not really looking to do that here in this specific example. So what I'm going to do instead is say, I'd like this design to be green. And let's go ahead and click create, and we'll get some different options for that. Ooh, okay. I like how these actually switched up a little bit too with kind of the different formats. I feel like this makes it a little bit more unique. I kind of like this one a lot. This is super cute. The green is a little bit bright for me though. So let's say I'd like this design to be more of a deep green, more of a earth tone. Ooh, okay, these are a lot better. I really like this one down here. This is super cute. I'm really happy with this truly as is. So next step would be just exporting, putting it on a mock-up, and getting that listing ready for Etsy. Very quickly, I'm able to come up with these two different type of concepts, one with the skeleton, one with more of that meme style for baking. But I don't want to stop there, especially when I'm looking to get my first sale on Etsy. I want to really saturate that niche with multiple designs. What's important here is making sure that I'm still creating high quality designs. And so using a tool like Playground can really help in doing that. I also want to add that I have a link down below that you can get started and try Playground out today, play around with it, create some designs, see how it can integrate into your workflow. But overall, a good number to aim for when you are tapping into a niche and really looking to earn your first sale, the number that I recommend is having a minimum of 25 unique designs. I want to give a disclaimer with this. This is not a race. This is not a sprint. You do not need to create 25 unique designs today, tomorrow, the next day. I recommend creating them incrementally. Just create, one a day, whatever works for you, your schedule. Even if you do have the capability to burn out 25 designs, I really don't recommend doing so, because a lot of the times when we're first starting out, we have a different eye for design. That creativity muscle, it's not quite as strong yet. And to be very honest, the bulk 25 designs that you create today will all be of pretty equal or same quality level because you're approaching them with the same mindset that you have today. Whereas if you space that out a little bit, there's no secret hack or anything like that that makes a difference in spacing them out in terms of like listing them on Etsy or anything like that. There's no magic to that. But where the magic really lies is that when you're creating designs consistently, so say you're just creating one of those 25 designs designs every single day for the next 25 days, each design that you do create, you are going to approach incrementally better along the way. And you are going to also notice your creativity getting stronger. You're going to have more ideas, more of a eye for what to do with your designs. And again, I think using a tool like Playground is only going to aid and assist to that. The final step in all of this is really optimizing your listing for success. We found keywords that are proven with search volume, proven in demand. We've created a high quality design. We're continuing to create more high quality designs for that niche that we're looking to really saturate into to increase our chances of getting that first sale. And the cherry on top is making sure that your listing not only has those keywords, has that amazing design, but then you're pairing that design with really great high quality mockups and listing images that are going to provide your customer everything that they need to know to feel confident, comfortable to purchase from you. As a brand new shop chasing that first sale, you don't have sales history yet, you don't have reviews yet, and that can be a little bit of a deterrent for customers browsing the search results. But what you can control is the quality of your listings, your listing images, that title, the design, all of those components that you have your hand in creating. And so to help you with that, I want you to watch this video next. This is going to walk through the 5 listing images that your listing must have to have a high conversion rate, to build trust, build credibility, and hopefully get you on the path to getting your first sale on Etsy. Let me know in the comments down below, are you already using Playground? Are you going to try Playground? Again, I have that link in the description box below. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on it. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up. That just lets me know, of course, that you enjoyed it. Also helps a small little channel like mine grow and get this video in front of more people like you that it can help. And if you haven't already done so, be sure to boop the subscribe button down below so that you do not miss out on any future videos. As always, I hope that you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.